Hello there. Welcome to iPad Pros. This is a unique episode with more than one guest. So we're joined in this episode by both Riley Hill and Matt Birchler, and we're going to dive into just a free-form discussion about the MacBook Neo, the iPad's role in computing. Has that changed since 2010 when Jobs said it was that middle device? Who knows? And we'll see where it goes. So that's upcoming in this episode. You can support this podcast over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's our discussion. Welcome to podcast, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I heard this is going to be a battle royale. Is that?
Yeah.
Correct?
Absolutely. We should have had strapped on the VR helmets and done this in some kind of punch out game, you know? And Riley, welcome, Riley. How you doing?
Hello again.
So, Matt, you listened to the last episode of me and Riley just talking about the MacBook Neo before anyone got their hands on it, and you raised your hand and said, "Throw me in, Coach."
Yes, I literally was listening to it on my run, and I stopped. I took when I was taking a break, and I was like, I need to text him and say, "Get me on the show. I need to talk to you too." It was one of those podcast episodes where I wanted to be in the conversation, and so I took my shot, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun when you're listening to a podcast and you're talking to yourself and like sometimes yelling. It's like no, sometimes not yelling, but you know you have your feelings. Yeah. No, I'm the only one that has not touched a MacBook Neo nor purchased one. I will probably end up with one of these at one point in time, but I'll probably do the thing I did with the Mac Mini and wait like 2 years where it drops in price like $200. So it's a $400 Mac instead of $600. That $400 is the impulse territory for me, at least it feels like.
Okay, not quite budget enough for you.
You know, I really need a very budget.
Yeah, not with all the stuff you buy, man. That's
that's true.
Man's gotta have a line, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny on Vision Pros. I was talking. It's like the MacBook Neo is like the perfect throw it in your cart when you get your Vision Pro. What's another $600 and use that as your Mac, your keyboard and your trackpad for your Vision Pro with Mac Virtual Display. Seems like a perfect add-on for not much more money.
Yeah, it's the ultimate magic keyboard, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So Riley, you bought yours, and Matt, you have one as well. You purchased as your travel computer, as a personal computer.
Yes, yeah.
And you've not returned it in favor of a refurbished MacBook Air at this point.
No, I have not. This is a little. There's something special about the Neo. There's something cool about it. There's something, I don't know. It's not technically the best thing I could possibly have. I'm literally recording on a better Mac right now.
Yes,
but I like the Neo, so it's a weird little thing.
Okay, because it's funny. I know that your reviews and stuff. I know Jason had a post about you, then you had a post about that. It's been a dialogue between you and Jason, which has been fun. Yeah.
Yes, it's nice to have a sparring partner.
It really is, yeah. Now Apple didn't.
Sorry.
Yes. Interject, please. Interject. Yes.
No. Actually, need to stop you real quick. Apparently, mine is not recording. Doesn't like the app.
Okay.
So just FYI.
I'll just. Okay.
I can join on my Mac real quick.
Let's just not worry about it, and
Okay.
this will just be. I'll use my recording of this video, and I won't worry about editing. So let's just not screw up, and it'll be fine.
Okay. Just wanted to stop before. Unless you wanted to start over, I just wanted to stop before we got too far. So
No, that's fine.
all right.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sounded good. And yeah, cool. Now, one thing I'd love if they did is on the MacBook Pros, do they emboss on the bottom of the MacBook Pro like MacBook Pro and some fancy like imprint?
They do, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Neo doesn't have anything fancy where it's like Neo embossed in there or anything like that.
No.
That'd be too expensive, you know.
You got to cut corners everywhere. Yes.
That was not in any of the reviews. Like, did they do any nice engraving, you know?
Matt, what color did you get out of curiosity?
I did the indigo.
Indigo. Okay.
I got too
So
scared.
that's the professional color,
What did you get?
I went with the yellow, whatever we're citrus.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I mean, that's the winner. I mean, you got to go bold,
What do you think of it? Do you like it?
I go back and forth. My wife came in and said this looks like vomit, and that's
Oh,
kind of
no.
hard to get out of my mind now. But I still like it. It's fine.
I'd imagine in different colors it looks different. So in like sunset versus indoor lighting, I don't know. Does it change?
I haven't taken it out of the house yet, so
Okay.
it's,
Okay.
same vomit color the whole time, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. If it was true vomit, I don't know why we're going this path.
No,
but
we're not gonna.
you'd want like the iMac G3 where you have like speckles in it, right?
Oh boy.
That's as far. That's
Plastic.
As far as I want to go with that.
Plastic, you could do more creative things with, like with the what they call that, the flower power. Is that what that was?
Oh yeah, the
Oh.
flower power one.
Yeah.
You can't do that with aluminum.
No, you can't. But yeah, and Matt, is the blue one, the keyboard is the most tinted of the three from what I've heard.
I don't know. It's tinted. You can tell it's tinted, but it's pretty gray, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's a bluish gray.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically the same color as the iPhone 17 Pro in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost
Okay.
identical. So it looks nice.
Yeah. They need a figure out how to do white aluminum. That could be hot. Can you anodize aluminum to white versus silver?
Oh boy. I mean,
Like
if
a
you can do
pure
honest
white.
stuff, you can do anything.
Pure white. Man, they should try that, iPodify it,
They
You
can
can
do
do
it
it
in
in
iPads.
orange.
They should be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's true. So the 8 gigs of RAM seems to be the biggest like hardware limitation. And that's what our family's MacBook Air is. From my wife got that one. It's like I was like, you don't need more than 8 gigabytes of RAM. That was because it was a big upcharge back in the day. And mostly accurate, except for the thing Apple's killing pretty soon, Rosetta. I noticed was the biggest culprit of warning me that you don't have enough memory and everything will just fall apart. But once I installed native versions of like Office, all was good in the world. So maybe that's part of the reason Apple's killing Rosetta next year or whatnot.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I don't use a ton of Mac apps, but man, I just feel like it's been 5 years now. Like, are there that many like actively developed apps that need Rosetta? I don't know.
No, it bugs me to death that Apple's just. ATP covered this, but like you don't need to turn Rosetta off. Just like leave it running because like there will be an obscure app that just like can't run because Apple's whims.
You do get into a spot where your 2026 Windows computer has in program files x80 or what is it, System 32 or something like, and these apps from 30 years ago still run, and that's nice. It is nice, but
yes,
it is a little wild going in there.
Yeah, nothing
goes away.
So, Matt, do you have any opening statements as a thing?
Oh boy, I did not prepare for this, but no, I mean, I think listening to the podcast you guys did a couple weeks ago, I feel like the Mac fans and the iPad fans need to talk directly to each other more, because I feel like the what's the
we're in our separate bubbles.
Or we assume the worst of each other. We assume the other one wants to take something from the other, and sometimes we accidentally say something like that because we get, feisty.
Yeah.
But
yes, indeed.
But I wanted to talk about it because I feel like I am I have been the iPad only guy, right? Like years ago, I sold the Mac, like bought an iPad Pro. 2018 iPad Pro was like the thing that did it for me, and I was like, I'm in. This is my thing. And then I came back to the Mac, and it's fine. And I have an iPad, I have a Mac, and life is fine. But I feel like I want something, and I want it so badly. I want a computer that does everything that I want. And I feel like this iPad Pro gets so close to it. But it feels like it's we're approaching we're a logarithmic line. We're just approaching the limit, but we're never going to get there. And I just want the thing that I use to have the things that I love about the iPad. And so, yeah, that's kind of
there
my perspective.
In 10, 15 years, does technology get to the point where Apple makes their own Surface Book Duo where the screen comes off of a Mac and transforms into an iPad, and you plop it down on the base and has more power and has a Mac OS running? Or is that too complicated for Apple to ever try to do?
They can do it today. We have iPhone chips running Macs. Like, power is not the issue, right? That's not an issue. We have a year-old iPhone chip that runs a Mac that people are in love with.
The translation from iPad to Mac in one device is what Apple would probably have the most issues with. Like, not all Mac apps run on the iPad, so what do you do when you're like plop it back down the iPad or take it off to become an iPad? And
so, okay, so maybe this would be a good place to start. Let me share my vision for what I would love to happen.
Sure, yeah.
So what I would love. So I think one of the fundamental things is people like me who maybe complain about the iPad more than we should, is we love so much of the iPad experience, and we want it for the platform that we get the most value from. I think, Riley, you brought this up a few times. Like, people just want different computers. Like, it's not irrational to like want to prefer iPad OS. Like, that is a very reasonable thing to do. It's a different OS that has different priorities. You interact with it slightly differently. Like, it is rational for someone to say, I understand the limitations. It's fine. For me, it's fine. So for me, what I would love is, or what I envision happening is, the rumor is this year's M6 MacBook Pros, there's going to be like an Ultra or some crazy expensive thing, but it's going to be a laptop with a touchscreen. So that's step one. Touch officially supported in macOS. Okay. You'll probably be able to do some, I'm guessing they'll take some inspiration from iPad OS. You'll be able to move windows around similar. I'm guessing. We'll see.
I mean, the biggest thing will just be scrolling. That's going to be the biggest thing people do with that Mac.
For sure.
I'm just going to scroll a window and do it naturally. Yeah.
And then a year, 2, 10 years later, who knows what their timeline is. At that point, if you can use a Mac with touch, why not make a tablet version of it? Make it so that when I detach it from my keyboard, it's a Mac. I don't want it to change to iPad OS. I want it to be Mac OS still. But like, let me run my Mac apps. Let me do all the things. It won't be quite as smooth as iPad OS, which is built from the ground up for touch, but it'll have the things that I need to do. It can be in a smaller form factor. I can bring it to the kitchen. I can do all the stuff with it. Like, all the things that you love about the iPad, right? It's just a different OS with different apps.
Apple Pencil is supported in this world.
Is what supported? Sorry.
Apple Pencil will be supported in this world for Mac interactions.
In a perfect world, sure.
Yeah, I think and then the Mac would also need a better. It would need a virtual keyboard that's not like a weird accessibility thing.
Yep. Yeah. So they probably won't have that in this version that's coming out this year, but yeah, for sure. Have to have the. Basically, I mean, this is also where I get into trouble, where I'm like, we have 2 operating systems that run on touch screens that do the exact same things. Why do we have 2 of them? And that's where I get into trouble when I write things about iPad OS getting killed. It's a whole thing. But that's kind of what I want. And so what I think the thing that I wanted to really point out, or to make clear at least, is that I think my wanting a touch, like a tablet style Mac that looks everything like an iPad, like I would go so far as to be like, when you're buying an iPad, you should be able to choose the operating system. I'd be fine with that. But whatever they want to do. But
imagine when you boot up a computer, if you hold down the option key and it would let you select Mac or iPad, and you could partition the device to be like of my 1 terabyte, let's have 256 gigs for iPad OS and the rest. That'd be a wild future, I must say.
Yeah. So, but in that reality where I'm getting a touchscreen Mac that's a tablet style and I can do all those things, we could also have the iPad. We could also have the iPad, which starts right at lower end. Like it works for kids better than a Mac does. It works for you can upgrade and get better versions of it that are more computery and can do more stuff. And if you prefer iPad OS, you can keep using those. But I think a great world would be, oh, you want touch? That means you must have an iPad, because 5-10 years ago it was, oh, you want a mouse and keyboard? You must have a Mac. And then that wall came down, and it was okay.
Yeah,
and I think it can be okay if Macs get touch and all those things as well. So that's the world I want to live in.
So let me ask you this: do you think there is a reality where Apple releases a tablet Mac alongside an iPad? Like they keep going down this touch path, but they have two different tablets. You see them ever doing that?
I think it's kind of weird, but maybe I do think it is weird that literally every operating system in the world has a touch interface except macOS. And for some reason, people are convinced that macOS is so fragile and so terrible that it's the only operating system that could not handle the jump to being interactive with your fingers. So I feel like in a world where they have 3 Mac laptops, 4 desktops, like they have an enormous line. Like I feel like there is space for a tablet style if they wanted.
Because sometimes I see people complain they want Mac OS on the iPad, and I'm like, well, the Microsoft Surface has existed for over a decade, right? That is pretty much what you want. If you accept we live in the world where most like productivity apps are web based, then it's like exactly what you want. And that's all the information I've seen has not set the world on fire. So I question that. I don't know. It sounds a lot like, well, if you don't like it, get out. But it's really more. But that's the product you want. You know, that is what you're asking for. You know.
Yeah.
The one thing with Windows is they love to cling to the past. Where, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but ARM-based Windows is still a hot mess as far as app support.
No, it's much better than it was.
Okay.
I don't want to pull out all the devices. I do have a Surface over here I can pull out and take a look at. The ARM situation is better. It's not as seamless as it is on Mac OS, where like you literally can't even tell.
And their Rosetta facsimile is working better as well than it used to.
Yeah, I've had one for about a year. I used it on a semi-regular basis. I've never had an issue with anything not running, so
okay,
it works well enough. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. Like, I would put the question back to you. What tablets have set the world on fire that aren't the iPad?
I will answer that and say from the Kindle Fire. Still, I am told by other parents as being like a thing, and I always wince and cry a little bit when I hear that they're buying their kids a Kindle Fire because like they're so terrible. Like, but yeah, the pure content consumption. And it's weird to hear that. What's that app we were talking about last time, Riley? That they stopped their iPad development work so they can work on a Android tablet version, which I guess it implies that there is some Android tablet that is selling in large enough numbers to deem that a good investment in time.
It was Blender, and what I was wondering was if there was more of a philosophical. That's why I was asking, because I didn't know if it was like, because it's an open source app. They're big in the open source community. I didn't know if maybe someone in charge was like, this is a little more aligned with what we believe in, so we're going to do the Android thing. That doesn't seem to be the case, but that was what I was wondering.
Yeah, but even my older brother, who is Android diehard for phones, he got an iPad, a Pro, that he uses as his tablet. Like, it seems like the iPad is the only true successful tablet outside the Fires for little kids.
The Fire tablet is a good one to bring up.
I was going to go all the way back to the Nexus 7. That's the only other successful tablet I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, and it's just been pain from like Google trying to make tablets since
I
then.
mean,
Samsung's
I have in the
game, but
I have in the closet over there a rare 64 gigabyte white cellular HP touchpad running WebOS.
oh boy.
I imported that one from Europe because they didn't sell them in the States because they got off the market so quickly. Man, what a future that would have been if WebOS took off. I would have loved if we had that as instead of Android, and I would love if it was WebOS versus iPhone. That would be a better fight, Anyways.
Matt, I was gonna say I'm pretty convinced that the only reason Samsung is still making tablets is because Apple is. So like if Apple, I really like if they canceled all iPads tomorrow, Samsung would be out of that market.
There's nothing to copy.
I just think that they've built like the crux of their marketing is like making fun of Apple and Apple. It's just like kind of sticking it to them, and I just feel like that's the only reason they're still making tablets.
It is. I mean, I don't know how wrong you are. That could be. That very well could happen. Like it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It is a good point. It is possible that all of this is wanting for something that people don't actually want. And maybe that's the case, but I just I don't if it is very cool on the iPad, and like I feel like we all agree like the iPad is a cool device and there's really great things about it. It is the best hardware that Apple makes in a lot of ways, and the software is people have different opinions on it, but like it evolved quite a bit. It's grown quite a bit over the years, and it's totally usable as a professional device for a lot of stuff. But yeah, I just don't understand why it couldn't be done on Mac OS. And literally Apple's thing is, oh, no one was able to make this successful. Now we've done it. Bask in our glory.
Yeah. There is something intuitive about the iPad, like, and iPhones, I guess. Like my 3-year-old daughter, I don't teach her how to use, like, if I put her in front of this Mac, I don't think adding touch to it makes it 1,000 times more intuitive. I might be wrong there, but I think she would be more prone to get lost in where she's trying to go on the Mac versus you give her an iPad. She's opening apps. She's dismissing notifications, which on the Mac, that I guess you could probably add that to make that a thing. But there's something intuitive in like it's like Jobs when he's introducing this is a new category that's like better at some things, but definitely worse at a lot of things based compared to the Mac. But there's some I feel like the category should continue to exist.
100%.
But the question is on especially the iPad Pro, where it's $2,000 for the model I have with the nano texture and all that. It's like it sure would be nice in the high end models to have the dual boot option. As I said, hold down the option or whatever when you're booting.
Oh, you actually want that? Interesting.
That would be as I was talking about. It's like, man, that would actually be kind of cool to dual boot an iPad and partition it. Like, why not? Why not? If you're spending like that money, why not dual boot this thing?
You've poisoned his mind, Matt. What are you doing here?
Because I have memories back of my college days of like I've got a leopard partition and I've got a tiger partition. You do weird fun things of different boot scenarios.
Okay. Here's a theory I have, and Tim, you brought this up. I'm curious what you think of this. If computers go from like complexity and like what they can do from 0 to 10, I feel like the iPad does like a 0 to 8 and the Mac does a 4 to 10. There's a lot there in the middle that covers a lot of stuff. But I feel like there's a couple things the Mac is going to go above for, but it doesn't get down to, it's not going to work for your very young child. They're not going to pick up a Mac and be like, ooh, the file system. Ooh.
Yeah. But you can have it pretty basic and do a 4 where you have your dock with the different apps, and
people can.
Who cares if they don't close the apps when they need to or whatever. Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of hundreds of millions of Americans go to work every day. Let's say many millions of Americans go to work every day in front of a computer.
Absolutely.
It is a Mac or a Windows computer in most cases. They have all levels of technical skill. They can figure it out. Like you can get there, but it's not like
It's not
in
like
front of your TV.
2-3-year-old level of
Yeah.
intuitiveness. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So here's I think my biggest problem whenever the Mac OS thing comes up. So as an iPad enthusiast, I like that there are these apps now, like, we have Final Cut and Logic, and, there's pro apps from other companies too. DaVinci's there. Blender will get there eventually. In the reality where this thing runs Mac OS, why would a developer ever develop another iPad OS app if you can just point to, well, just use my Mac app,
Yeah.
That's
I
my
mean,
big hang-up.
I think that is a problem. I think it's one of the problems that I like just get the hurdles I get into when I start thinking about, well, what if Apple had a fully touch Mac? And then what sense does it make? This is what I get with like the folding iPhone we're also getting this year. That's going to have an 8-inch screen when you unfold it, which is iPad mini size. And they get different OSs. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I do think that is another thing that I wonder about with the iPad conversation is it a concern that if Apple has a Mac that looks like an iPad, interacts with an iPad, is it a concern that that's going to take people away from the iPad? It's going to make the software that you like no longer get built or maintained the same way? Is the separation between the platforms important to keep the iPad what it is right now for you?
I feel like a well-designed iPad app. It's hard because Apple's literally saying the opposite with Catalyst, but it's like a well-designed iPad app probably shouldn't work well on a Mac. Like a app fundamentally, we see this when they move some of the iPad apps to the Mac and they kind of feel off, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think it may prevent really great apps from being on the platform, but on the other hand, I'm a developer. If there was a way to run Xcode, I would do it. Like, I'm fine using a Mac for that today, but like if it showed up in any form on the iPad, I'd be pretty happy.
100%.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it is weird because as a developer as well, like we talked about it before we started recording. We talked about my app, Quick Subtitles. That's an app that runs on the iPhone, Mac, and iPad, and the code is literally the same for each. The difference is in Xcode, I create an archive for iOS, and that's the iPhone and iPad version, which is literally the same code for what it's worth. And then I flip a toggle, and then I say build again, and it builds the Mac version, but it's exactly the same code. I could probably do something more custom for each platform, but the way Apple builds their like development kits and everything is just build your app and tell us where to run it, and we'll run it and use kind of native things there. And a lot of the UI is exactly the same now, right? Like, especially with Tahoe, like I did some measurements of like the physical size of buttons. They're literally the same. Like the touch targets on an iPad and a Mac are literally the same if you just use Apple stock elements these days. So it is very much kind of like the same software running, unless you start to do customizations on top of that.
There's a boatload of iPad apps that the developers toggle off support on the Mac. Do you think when we get this touchscreen Mac, Apple will have an option to enable on the Mac, but only if this Mac has a touchscreen? Because maybe that would alleviate developers' fear of tech support because, my app really should have a touchscreen, and, would Apple be that granular? Yeah,
I think no.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the Apple way. It's all or nothing, right?
Yeah. I have a couple apps that are built to work on all platforms, so I've made sure they work on all platforms, but I have a couple apps that only work on iPhone and iPad. And when I tried to build them on Mac, they will either literally not build, or they will build and run and crash because they're using something that's not available on Mac OS. So I want to dispel this rumor that developers are being evil when they block you. Some of them probably are.
So you're saying not like flip the switch to make it into a Mac app, but like when you try to run the iPad code directly as, here's the iPad app running here.
When you try to run it in compatibility mode or whatever.
It crashes.
it literally will not function. So
Interesting.
it does happen.
Okay. Yeah.
It's possible my
'Cause,
apps are just horrendously written, but it is definitely a thing
I
that can
doubt
happen.
that.
Yeah.
I doubt that.
But
As
yeah,
a developer,
Mhm.
I guess I wanted to. I don't know if there was a because I think in this year in Mac OS there's like a virtualization framework, or there have been improvements to Apple's virtualization framework. I've had this theory because I think there was like an offhand Mark Gurman comment about like, oh, by the time the folding iPad comes around, it'll be able to run Mac OS apps. Like, do you think virtualization might be a thing they would consider, even just for one-off apps, like spinning up like a essentially container to run Mac apps on iPad?
I think that'd be really interesting.
I don't know
It
what that looks
theoretically
like
could
from
work,
user
right?
facing. Yeah, because I feel like you could keep it siloed or sandboxed or whatever. But like thinking of Xcode in particular, you could spin up a Unix environment for it to exist in, maybe allow you to install, third-party tools and stuff, but keep everything else from the iPad sandboxed. I don't know. Seems like maybe a way.
Being on the same architecture, is there not a lot of headroom to do that RAM wise, or would there be a lot of resources to do that?
Oh boy, we're getting maybe above my head, but I will
Yeah.
say that running iOS simulators on macOS got a heck of a lot better once Apple Silicon came around, and they were both on the same
Yeah.
platform. That was X86 emulating ARM. So I would suspect it is better than it's ever been, but I don't know how well it would,
Yeah.
But I mean, the iPad Pro and the M5, like it's got headroom if that's all you're doing on it. So I'm sure you could do okay. An iPhone chip can run Mac OS, so an M5 is going to smoke it, even in virtualization.
Yeah.
So I do a podcast, Comfort Zone, not a plug, but one of my co-hosts, Christopher Lawley, he's a big iPad guy, and he has this theory that Apple is going to do Apple OS, and everything from their phones to their tablets to their Macs are all going to run Apple OS.
This is a bonkers idea, which I cannot stand by. This seems.
I think it's crazy too.
It's not. So the watch. I mean, come on, you're not going to run Final Cut Pro on your watch. And Apple prides itself of each platform being like special. They like their specialness, and like this is a Mac app, and this is there's less of that these days. But in the iPad, every year there's here's the one thing that's like special about iPad. And most times it's only one thing.
Well, you say that, but I feel like in recent years they've been preaching more about consistency, like a consistent experience across all our platforms, and obviously that hit the iPad hard last year. Like now it looks like a Mac essentially. Which I still have mixed feelings about as an iPad user. But
yeah, I think Matt, you hated this year's OS update.
I didn't
mostly
hate the OS.
Well, it's
if I used an external monitor, I bet I'd adore it. But I am more of a simple iPad guy who just wants to use one or two apps at the same time, and especially in 26.0. Split screen was not intuitive and just not that great, and slide over was gone. Yes, I'm one of the slide over sickos.
I love slide.
So it definitely got better, and so now it's actually in a fine place. I'm perfectly happy with it. But I did feel like I was getting a more complex experience when I liked the iPad in my life as kind of the middle device. I liked the simplicity of it. I had moved on from trying to like push it more than it could reasonably do and get mad at it. I moved on from that to life. And
you didn't want it as the dumb, simple one app at a time thing, because that was too far the other way.
Simple.
Yes,
I'm an adult who sometimes wants two apps.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you guys. The folding iPhone. What are you excited about this? What do you think
what the hell is Gurman saying that this won't run iPad apps? That seems ridiculous, right? Like it's limited to iPhone apps, and you get split screen for two of them, I guess.
Well, this is the thing. I go into App Store Connect, I upload an iOS app. There's no such thing as an iPad app. It's an iOS app, and you decide what.
You tell that to Apple with Final Cut Pro, who up until recently didn't have it resizable until the latest update.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But I do wonder if this is Mark Gurman simplifying something that either he doesn't understand or he doesn't. It's not for his audience. He doesn't care. When quick subtitles. I'm not plugging please do not put links to these things.
Yes.
I'm literally just using them as examples. When I build that app, it's just an iOS binary, and it has a view when it's a narrow window, and when you make it wider, the sidebar appears and the UI reflows. And I would suspect that what's going to happen is if an app runs on iOS, it'll run on the phone, and when you open the screen and it goes full screen, then it'll go to its wider layout. But if it's something like Final Cut that literally does not run on the iPhone, you won't be able to install that because they're not going to be able to. When you like close the thing, it's not going to work, that sort of stuff.
So the iPhone will gain size classes that are iPad size classes, and gain capabilities because of that.
Yep.
Which that's intriguing.
And I think developers won't have to do anything; it'll just work fine out of the box. And maybe I'm sure they'll have something that you can.
Yeah, they'll have optimizations. Yeah.
But like, I bet you, it'll just kind of work out of the box for most things.
So I am intrigued as a tech enthusiast as to what this folding iPhone is going to be. I'm in this period of my life now, I guess. It sounds like Tim has already gone through this. I kind of just using my iPad. I'm taking it everywhere as my phone. Like I'm literally leaving my phone at home because I have a cellular iPad. I'm just like taking this with me everywhere. It's actually fine. It helps to be boring, but so I'm interested in it just to see Apple's take on it. But in terms of, like, it's for me personally, it's not going to do anything for me that my iPad's not already doing. But I know I'm an outlier.
Sure. But you're an iPad Pro user, surely? Do you have a second iPad? There's like an alternative iPad.
How many iPads do you think he has?
I was going to let Tim answer that. I think I've gone over the list a few times to him.
Are you at 5 iPads? What are you at?
Dude,
you have a mini. He has a mini. Let me get this. See if I get this right. He has a mini. He has a baseline iPad. He's got an 1 or 2 Airs. 2 Airs, and he has 2 Pros. Right? You have a small and a big Pro. So you're at 6.
And one more. I have an M1 Pro that I use for betas.
7. Okay, 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I consider myself an iPad guy the way that some people are Mac guys and they like collect Macs and stuff. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
And you have roles for most of them in some regard.
Yeah. The 13 inch is my laptop, so to speak. Although I almost feel like it's kind of shortchanging the iPad to call it a laptop replacement, whether you agree that it is or not, because it's kind of, it's more than just that laptop form factor. Like it's my computer, that it just is. So yeah, it can do the laptop thing, but it's a tablet. But I'm fine with it being a tablet, and touching the software and using the pencil and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think on the episode I listened to with you guys, I think Riley, you said you typically use it outside the Magic Keyboard. Like you are in tablet mode more.
I'm in tablet mode and plugged into my Thunderbolt dock. I also just hook it up to my setup, my same setup I use for work, and work off of it that way. So, I like to preach those things, not because I think everyone should use their iPad that way. External display support, all things honest, is still kind of buggy, but like, I just like people to know what their iPads are capable of, because I feel like the narrative in the tech press took a nosedive around the time Apple Silicon came to the Mac, and everyone was like, "Oh, this iPad doesn't make sense," and this and that, and like, it's gotten so much more capable than a lot of people remember, because their impressions are frozen in like 2018 or something. So
yeah,
it's a lot of what I try to do.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I do think that's fair. There are definitely it's definitely grown quite a bit, and like I think Stage Manager obviously had issues once we got it in our hands, but like I that is like one of the top moments from an Apple keynote, because I felt like it was like just walls coming down. Like, oh my god, it's happening! Like they are like they're this is a huge like monumental thing. And then I saw my Mac traffic lights coming. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
here we go. I'm home.
Yeah, the fact that I could go on vacation and record my podcast with either just my iPhone or my iPad with local capture is like, man, that's such a life-changing feature, kind of. Like, it's just it's just there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everything they can do to get rid of like any like hacky workarounds.
Yeah.
Tim, you've been podcasting from an iPad for years.
Yeah. I would use the Zoom H6 recorder, and I would feed audio from the iPad into the Zoom H6 to get guest audio. And then I would use my good microphone plugged directly in the Zoom H6 to get a second channel for my audio. And eventually, that Zoom, after like 4 years, started becoming flaky. So I now just relented, and I record at the desk downstairs on my Mac Mini with Audio Hijack. It's a nice setup, but I've definitely been there, done that with the iPad recording for many years, and it's not a bad setup the way it used to be. Probably even better with local capture and all that. And one of the things I delayed in upgrading to the 2018 iPad, I never owned a 2018 iPad. I stuck with that 2017 iPad for many years until the Magic Keyboard came out. That's what inspired me to upgrade. It's like, oh, they made a keyboard that looks just incredible with the trackpad. Time the upgrade. So I got the COVID iPad before the M1 came out. And then a year later, the M1 came out. It's like, okay, time to upgrade a year later. And then, anyways, the removal of the headphone jack was like, this is a major downgrade, because I would use the headphone jack to do audio out into the Zoom H6. And it's like, okay, you made it so I need a dongle and I can't charge it. Well, yeah. So eventually I did upgrade, and now most of the time I had Thunderbolt dock, which made things better. And that was, I guess, another huge thing was Thunderbolt was like a reliable solution versus the 2018 iPads did not have Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
And the USB-C docks are they're terrible compared to what Thunderbolt does. It's like, oh, they're just so sketchy and unreliable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing as well. Like my desk setup has a Thunderbolt dock where I've got my monitor plugged in, my audio interface, speakers, mouse, keyboard, Ethernet. A couple other things are plugged into that, and like I plug my Mac in, it works great. I go from work where I plug in my work computer, everything just works. Plug in my personal computer after work, it just works. Plug in the iPad, it just works. It does like my cameras, that like everything is there. Like it is. And that was not the case years ago. So
it's so funny with
for sure
the Mac Mini. I'll have the Apple keyboard wired up over Lightning to the dock, and my PS5's here, right? And I plug that thing into it because that's where my audio comes out from my headphones. I now have a keyboard for my PS5 as a happenstance, because that just works with the PS5 too, which is just fun. The whole dock feature is just bizarre.
What's your PlayStation keyboard for?
I never really use it, but I noticed one day it's like, you have a keyboard. So I guess when you're on the PlayStation Store, I could type.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like, and if I open the Messages app on there, which I never do, but I just, it's like, the Thunderbolt dock is just game changing, because everything you plug, the iPad, the Mac, and the PlayStation, it all works together.
Not the iPhone, though.
No, sadly not.
So I have a question for Matt, I guess, to kind of bring it back a little bit. And you've probably talked about this. I apologize. Work has been crazy. I'm behind on everything. So there are a lot of people debating the Neo and the iPad and saying, the Neo replaces the iPad. Like you shouldn't have both. Things like where do you, if someone were to ask you, I have $599, I want to buy an iPad or a Neo, what would you say to them?
Well, obviously, I was going to take this opportunity to just break my iPad in half. Now that I mean, I think they're different. It depends what the iPad was doing for you. right? Like if you like it as kind of this like very portable screen that needs to do specific tasks, then that's probably fine. Also, you already have it, so don't spend the money unless you really like have a reason to, or you're an idiot like me and maybe all three of us. I don't know.
Me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Like John Gruber said this, and in like the end of his MacBook Neo is like, I'm done with iPads. We'll see. But
the question is, was Gruber ever into iPads? He always used them in disgust. It felt like it's like he's a Mac guy. He's a Mac guy that just he's too old to learn new things. It feels like there's an age like. I don't know what age that is. I haven't hit it yet because I got the Vision Pro. I was like, oh, this is great. And at a certain age, like when I hit 50, maybe it's like I'm done with new computers at the age of 50. I don't know.
It's possible. But like, I think they're pretty different things. Like for me, I think I use my iPad for, we do a lot of Lego at our house. If you're watching the video, you can see behind me. It's almost all Lego. That's like my work is incredibly stressful. There's no clear answers for anything. It's very exhausting, and I like Lego. I can just go through each page, and it tells me exactly what to do, and I can be successful. It's great. So I use that, and I use the iPad for that. I use the iPad to like, I mean, just the classic things, like literally everything Steve Jobs did on that couch. Like I do like it for email. I do like it for just browsing the news and stuff. But I did use the iPad sometimes on the couch, and sometimes I would be just chilling, just vegging at the end of the day. And, I did want to make that change to my app. And now I can use the MacBook Neo, which is, I could have used the nicer MacBook as well, but like having a smaller computer is kind of nice. That's one of the things I like about the iPad is it is a smaller computer. So I can't do as much on it, but it's a little more compact. It feels less like you're getting like an aircraft carrier onto your lap when you're just like trying to relax. So I think the Neo is kind of doing some of that. I don't know. I have said that I do think there's a bit of a like psychosis going around about the Neo. We're all going to come down from it in a few months when we're like, oh, it's a budget computer. Interesting. And I have a high-end Mac. Oh, okay. Maybe I do like nice computers. So I guess my short answer would be I don't think it necessarily replaces the iPad for most people, but it seems like there were people who were like they maybe were like more desk bound. Maybe they literally have like a Mac Studio or something as their computer, or they just have their computer docked and they don't like to bring it out. And now they have a more capable, or for them more capable device that they can use the OS that they prefer, and they can have this second device that's not $1,000. Right. And but like I don't think it's the death of the iPad by any means.
I'll be so curious, like your first computer as like a middle schooler, high schooler, maybe the Neo sells instead of an iPad when an iPad might have sold back then. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I made the case, 90% being serious, that, the Neo's a great iPad accessory for like,
just like it's a great Vision Pro accessory.
Yeah. I mean, cause as a developer, right, I can't really write code on the iPad. I mean, if I want to jump through hoops, I can, but I don't really want to. So like, if I just want to, the stuff I build at home is like utilities for me. And like just reaching for the Neo to do that is fine. And then I can do everything else on the iPad. That's, I don't say that as a bad way to go personally, but it also helps to have these devices already too. Like, I don't know that I'd recommend someone go out and buy both an iPad and a Neo if they didn't need to, but if you have one or the other, that's kind of a relationship I see maybe working a little bit. So
well, and the fact the price is so much lower makes it a lot easier. Like it was very easy to like I have a Mac and then I can spend like $400-$500 and get an iPad. And that's it's still a lot of money, but it's reasonable for a lot of folks. Now that there's a cheaper Mac, like because it was like, oh, I'm an iPad guy, but I'd like a Mac sometimes. How much do they cost? Oh my God! But now you have a reasonable option. So it's a snarky headline, but I do, as someone who does it sometimes as well, I appreciate that. And I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I got the Mac Mini, but it's like I do so little with this thing. I'm glad I have it, but it's like it's $400. Glad I have it, kind of thing. Like,
Exactly.
And the laptop form factor is so nice. Like it's great to have that as an option too at that same $600 price point that the Mini sells at.
Yeah, and you probably just like VNC into it or screen share into it from your iPad, I assume, right?
Yeah, I definitely do. And then it's more reliable than my headless MacBook Air that I built for doing external display. It's still alive and kicking.
Okay.
It's graduated to a pure Vision OS accessory at this point.
Man,
I used to.
Every Mac is an accessory. Don't go crazy. Can't do real work on a Mac. It's only
You really can't. It's a keyboard for your Vision Pro with the nice trackpad, but it basically when you plug it into external monitor, which I did, it was a cool setup. But you just have it's basically desktop computer and when it's plugged into the monitor. But it'd be occasionally glitchy where I need to like reboot the monitor for it to recognize I'm plugged in and whatnot, or I need to connect it to the iPad over what's that called? Where the iPad becomes the monitor for the Mac.
I forget what it's called. Something.
Sidecar.
Yeah, sidecar.
Yeah, but yeah, sometimes I'd have to use that to like, hey, here, plugged into the monitor, use that and all that. So, it's nice to have a dedicated desktop where it's just like works instantly. But it does. The headless MacBook Air works instantly with the Vision Pro. That connection is just rock solid. And I bought a knockoff book case for the laptops. 12 South used to make these cases that looked like books, hardcover books or whatever, or leather books.
Right.
And they stopped making those. I was very sad because it's like that's the perfect case for the headless MacBook Air because it's got a little bit of room. Basically, you need enough room where it's not banging on the keyboard when it's closed up, and that one seems does the trick. Because the Mac, annoyingly, Matt, just turns on if you hit any button on that stupid keyboard. There's no power button anymore. And if there is, it doesn't matter because all the keys are power buttons. I don't know who at Apple decided that was a good idea. Because, like, what if you want to rip the screen off your laptop and that just always turns on?
You gotta.
I mean, yeah, you gotta think about all these things. Yeah. Because I remember my 2007 MacBook Pro, and it had such a satisfying circle power button. Do you remember that MacBook? That's such a beautiful power button of that thing.
Yeah. The first Mac I ever bought myself was a 2004 PowerBook.
Okay.
E4.
Yeah.
I went away to college. God, that thing was expensive and heavy.
Yeah, my first Mac.
Oh, Tim, we lost you.
In my back.
You're back.
There you go. You're back.
Yeah, it did the circle thing. But yeah, it was like $3,200, and my parents. I was like, justified to my parents, like, I need the largest screen to do all my compositions on for school, and I need the MacBook Pro rather than the $1,000 MacBook, of course.
Of course,
you can't do real composing work on a 13-inch screen.
You
so
guys,
I love that. I love that thing to death. That's great.
You guys had it great. I had to survive on that white plastic MacBook when I went to college. So.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, like 2 years later or 3 years later, I had to get my own laptop, and I didn't have any like summer money that I'd like earned or whatever. And I bought a $300 Compaq, which is the most god awful thing I've ever owned in my life.
Yeah. And I'm sure the white MacBook splintered open at some point. The plastic,
the top cover or the palm rest
by the keyboard, the palm rest, yeah.
But something happened and they replaced it. Something stopped working and they just ended up replacing it, so it was fine.
Yeah, I remember I had like definitely an extra battery. I'd swap that sucker out throughout the day.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That was nice. Swappable batteries were nice. My laptop, I started to notice a bend in the bottom that was concerning, and then I Googled what happens when your battery is bending, and it's very bad.
Yes.
You poke it to deflate it is typically what you want to do.
Yeah.
But back then, when the battery balloons, you could just take it out.
You just take it out
very easily. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been seeing making the rounds the iBook G3 hacks where people are tearing those apart and putting iPads in them and connecting the keyboard and stuff and turning those into iPad laptops. Which that seems like a fun project. The one I want to see is someone transplanting a Neo brains into the 12-inch MacBook. That needs to happen. Someone should figure that out.
Oh, that probably could happen.
Because there should be room. That's a small motherboard, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, my wife did have that computer. She liked it, but it was so slow. Like it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
but,
that computer would be great with the iPhone internals there.
Yeah, we sold it unfortunately, so I don't have the ability to do this for you, Tim.
Okay,
Matt, I forgot to ask you when you brought it up. Are you planning on getting the folding iPhone? What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Because you're rocking a Pro, and you have an Air at some point that you got rid of, or
this is the iPhone Air.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so history dictates I will get the folding iPhone.
Because you get an iPhone every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's my vice, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm interested. I did get a Motorola folding phone. Best Buy had like an insane sale where they sold like last year's Motorola flip phone for like $250. And I was like, yeah, that's half a MacBook Neo. I'm getting that. And so I tried it. And it is like the first week with it is so cool because like the screen folds and you're like, they don't do that. That's not supposed to happen. And like, it's fundamentally just cool to see it like happen. But I very quickly knew that wasn't the form factor for me because I don't want a smaller phone. I don't like, because it was basically as useful as an Apple Watch. And at that point I was like, oh, I have one of those.
I mean, I would love the return of the HP Veer, like the tiniest smartphones ever.
What is the Veer?
Do you remember the Veer? It was a WebOS phone. It was like a miniature phone.
This guy with the WebOS,
you need to look. I loved WebOS,
Dude.
man. I have quite the arsenal of devices over there.
Yeah, I have. It's in the closet. I got
HP Veer. This thing is delightfully small. They should. I would love a small phone like that.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, well, the 18 Pro is not that exciting. My 17 Pro is fine. This one's exciting. I need it. I'm an Apple pundit. I need it.
You need it for your work. Yeah, I mean,
need it for my work. So I'm sure I'll get it, but I am curious how useful it will be.
The price tag will be interesting too.
Yeah. I will say I did have an iPad mini for a while. I tried to make that work when my wife, she went from an iPad mini to the regular iPad. And so I got her hand-me-down iPad mini. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the perfect iPad for me. But the trouble with the iPad mini was the screen was so bad compared to my iPhone.
Yeah.
I was like, and I had the Pro Max at the time. And so I was like, it's barely any bigger than my iPhone. The screen is way worse. I feel I just like use my iPhone better. So an iPad mini size thing that I sometimes have that has a great screen and everything, that could be cool. And then it's like a normal size phone the rest of the time, or even smaller, it sounds like.
My big question is, so I often for my lunch break have the phone MagSafe to a stand that's also battery. When you have this folding thing fully folded out, is MagSafe on the back middle of that sucker?
Oh no, I think it's on the back right.
Like that seems very. Like, will you be able to use a MagSafe stand where it makes any kind of sense?
Oh, you 3D printed.
I did 3D print with the rumored CAD model.
Yeah,
I'm expecting the MagSafe just to be on the back here.
Okay.
Open it up. I'm sorry, you're seeing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Open it up, and then MagSafe is over here. So it's gonna be funky.
You can still do it potentially. Yeah. It'd be nice if those things had kickstands in some way built in.
Oh, is this where we talk about iPads and kickstands?
I mean, iPads should have kickstands. They should.
They should have,
or at least one of the models should. One of the models should.
Just a little thing that like sticks out, not the full width, not a Surface.
The
style.
Nintendo Switch one style.
The horrible
Not
one.
two,
Yeah.
not the horrible one.
Everyone's broke off.
The horrible one, yeah, the one that broke off. Yeah,
Exactly.
So does
Yeah.
that mean then you probably won't be getting the OLED iPad Mini? I don't know how many Apple things you buy a year, so I don't know where your limits are.
People sometimes wonder if I'm paid by Apple. No, they are paid for me.
I know the feeling.
Probably not. Actually, I'd be curious what you guys think about this. Actually, I think the iPad OLED makes no sense because I don't understand how it's going to be. I mean, unless it's going to be.
What if they do the same price point? Because the Mini's already a premium device cost-wise. It feels like to me.
It's $499, right, for the base one. So I feel like if you make it OLED and keep it at $499, okay. But like once it gets as expensive or more expensive than the iPad Air, it seems very weird that one. So I'm not sure.
The Mini really is an iPad Air Mini. Like that's what it's a miniaturization of.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to when they compare it in the lineup. It's like this is the iPad Mini. No, it's the iPad Air Mini, which is not a good product name, but that's what it has become.
I think the plan is probably, had I to guess, because it's like Mini this year gets OLED, Air I think next year they bump them both $100, but there probably will be.
Air will get OLED. Do you think?
Oh yeah. I think they're both supposed to get 60 hertz OLED.
Okay.
But they'll probably bump them both $100, so there'll be this middle period where the base Mini costs as much as the Air, and people being like, "What's going on?"
Articles are already written.
Yeah.
iPad.
So the price creep you think will continue?
Oh yeah.
Do you think they'll bump the storage to justify it, or they're like, "Oh, new screen, that's good enough"?
I mean, that is my new annoyance, right? Is like we just got to 128 gigs on the base iPads literally last year, and now all the Macs are 256, and it's like, guys, come on, let's what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, that's the frustrating thing about the Air is it's 128 still. Like I feel like that should be like the base iPhone. The 17e is 256. Like I feel like the Mini and the normal iPad 128 totally reasonable. 64 is unacceptable in 2026. So I'm glad those are gone.
Yep.
I literally couldn't install an update on that Mini. There's a 64 gigabyte. Like I was literally immediately out of space after restoring from backup, and I was like, what? This is why people are on old versions of the OS.
Apple's gone better about the offloading thing, where like my iPhone Air, I had filled it up with like video downloads. It's like we can do the OS update if you choose to temporarily delete these downloads or whatever, and we'll put them back on after the update. I don't know if the Mini had enough room to even do that.
I don't know. That Mini was sad. It was not happy with me. But,
is nano texture still only MacBook Pro option?
It is. Yeah.
That's sad. Like, because like, whenever the next Mac laptop purchase in the household will probably be when a cellular MacBook is introduced, and nano texture will also probably be on that laptop. So I hope a MacBook Air would fit that at some point, but maybe it has to be the baseline MacBook Pro because that's the Apple way, maybe.
Yeah, they're very good with product line segmentation.
They are
just enough to make it really good, and then but that Pro is going to be like, oh, you get that much better screen, you get all that I/O. So same thing with the Neo. The Neo can't be too good, otherwise it's going to take you away from the Air.
Now, the next model, where it has 12 gigabytes of RAM, will be a major improvement to that computer, right?
I think so.
The Neo, yeah.
That seems like a no-brainer for the next update as they improve the chip. That just goes along for the ride. Now that we have two USB ports on a Neo, when's the iPad getting a second USB port?
I was going to say, when does the iPhone get to?
Oh, the iPhone even. I mean, come on, that'd be great.
Bottom, MagSafe, you can do so much.
Yeah. Put one in the back like you do on the Magic Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
People would love that. Yeah.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. Would you want a second port on your iPad?
I definitely would.
And where would you put it?
You either put it parallel side by side or one on. I see one on both sides would be ideal. I mean, with the Magic Keyboard, you can charge on both sides. Thankfully, that's a nice thing they did. But I don't know, Riley, would you do parallel or one each side?
So I think one on each side functionally makes more sense. However, it's uglier. Like just having cords dangling out of both sides. So from an aesthetic perspective, I put them both on the same side, personally.
Yeah.
This is this is my wife's big complaint. She has a MacBook Air is her computer, and the number one complaint she has, ironically, no touchscreen. The second complaint she has is the charging ports are both on the left, and every
Yes.
single situation she's in, whether it's at home or at work, it's more convenient on the right, and it drives her crazy that she has to have the wire go all the way around. So I'm always a fan of two sides. I do love that about the Magic Keyboard, that it gives you both sides as an option.
Yeah. No, that's an annoyance in this household too. It's like why? Yeah, on the same side, it's always the further away side. You're wrapping it around the computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like with MagSafe, they could have done MagSafe on one side and the other two ports on the other side. It's interesting they didn't do that.
I'm a terrible Mac person. I haven't used MagSafe in
Me neither.
since it's come back.
Yeah. It's just a USB cord now. I mean,
I just plug it in with USB. It's fine.
the funny thing is that when you're at a desk, you have your Thunderbolt hub. There's absolutely no reason for any person to use that if you're using it attached to a monitor, because you're the only time it seems like a travel plug. Really, you'd have in your bag.
And even then, all I pack is a 25-watt charger, and that charges everything. So
25.
I think
go
so.
Up to 30.
I do have a 35 dual charger, so it'll whatever Apple's their duo charger is. So I'll charge two things, but my laptop charges slow when I travel.
So I gotta go for the trifecta here, Matt. Since I asked you about the other two, do you think you'll be getting a MacBook Pro Ultra? And after you buy such a device, are you going to write an article that's going to make me want to respond? Make me write a response post.
Oh boy! I mean, I think a MacBook Ultra would really test the limits of the depths of my bank account. We will see, especially if there's a folding iPhone as well. This is I don't know how that would even possibly happen. But if I did, 100% I would write something that you would want to respond to. That's the fun of blogging.
It is.
Yeah.
You try to make good points. You try to say what you believe, and you try to get a little spicy every once in a while.
Just spicy enough to make me say, okay, it's my night off, but where's my iPad? I want to write something.
I got something to say.
I'm going to show this guy.
I'll never be on a podcast with him to see him face to face. Let's lay into him.
I'm confused why touchscreen deems it ultra. Like, aren't touchscreens don't cost much more money, right? The negligible costs.
You've ever seen. This is a new technology. It's completely blow away. Got OLED, like you've never seen. This is dual layer OLED. We've never done that in any Mac before.
Any other Mac before? Yes. Yeah. I'm confused why this isn't. Is the rumor that it won't replace the MacBook Pro, but we're getting a new high-end version that's beyond?
I think that's the rumor I've seen most recently. Is there's going to be the MacBook Pro and MacBook Ultra.
That's seems ridiculous. Like the MacBook Pro is expensive enough as it is. No,
it is.
The Apple move would be to introduce it only in the 15-inch to start, and then the 13-inch gets it later. That'd be the Apple move, or the 14-inch, I guess. Yeah,
16.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 6. Yeah. It's 16 and 14 now, right?
All right, iPad folks. Here's the.
I remember the 15.3. Was it 3 or 5? Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah,
because back in the day, Apple would this is only on the 16-inch, and the 14 would get later.
Yeah. I mean, that was the iPad Pro thing for a while too.
Yeah, the 13 would get stuff at the 11 didn't get.
I got to tell you though, I am already pre-annoyed because we got this beautiful iPhone Air last year, right? And apparently some they're saying now some people bought it, but not a lot of people.
More than the Plus did though, evidently.
Yeah.
The sales are on skyrocketing. Yeah.
So many people are going to buy this stupid folding iPhone for like $2,000. So many people are going to buy this like $3,000 MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
But, God, people do not appreciate thin and light anymore. Like, what is going on?
I still love this freaking thing, and it's still shiny. I love how shiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
is cool.
It's still delightfully fun to use. Yes.
Yeah. Everything is, this is the thing I keep, as I become an old man, this is the thing I keep seeing is everything is a reaction to what came before. Like Macs, like if you just look at the Mac, like Macs were kind of chunky and had a bunch of IO, and then Johnny Ive did his thing and they got very, very thin. Even the Pros were super, super thin. They're like as thin as the MacBook Air is now, basically. And then people were like, well, we've gone too far. And now we need to bring back strong. And we have these kind of chunky MacBook Pros. And now, we'll get thin ones and we'll go back and forth. And it's a whole thing. But yeah, thin and light is cool. Like the iPhone Air does feel very cool in the hand. Like it does make normal phones go like, oh, they don't have to be like that. Interesting.
This thing feels like a tank too, durability wise. Like they finally solved that. It feels like I can drop this, throw it against walls, high speeds. It's fine.
Yeah, doesn't feel delicate.
No. Yeah. Is your Pro holding up as far as scratches and stuff? Is it well worn in at this point?
It looks brand new.
Yeah. Okay. You returned your orange. You got the blue one.
Yeah, blue.
Yeah.
The orange was too much.
Dude, you returned the orange.
I was looking at the orange. I was like, I can't pull this off. I felt like I bought like clothes that were a little too cool for me, and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah. The one thing I am curious to see is with the touchscreen Mac is running iPad apps with the touchscreen. It seems to be, and the iPhone mirroring will seem to be. Surely that will be integrated in some cool way.
This is the thing I've been thinking forever. I think the M1s were where we got the ability to run iPad apps. Like I've been thinking about this for almost 6 years now. Like, oh, I can run iPad apps on my Mac, but I have to use my mouse, which is kind of weird because they're not assuming the mouse is there, and it doesn't work quite the same as the iPad cursor. And so like, oh, it would be so natural just like interact with these like this way. And then they did the iPhone mirroring, which is kind of the same deal. You kind of have to like figure out what the gestures are to like use a phone with your mouse. Oh, it'd be great if I could just like touch it. And so, yeah, it feels like it's inevitable, but I guess maybe it is now. But I did want to clarify: the laptop touchscreen is not the device that I want. I might be tempted because I'm an idiot. I may go.
You want a tablet Mac,
but I do want the tablet Mac is what I want.
Fair enough.
I feel like
basically the same form factor as the iPad, but a Mac.
I cannot tell you if they released a DMG image of macOS that I could install on my iPad, I would do this tonight. I would be so excited about that. I'd get a 13-inch iPad actually, probably, but yeah.
How, Rambo and all these other people, how have they not figured that out? It seems like there's no way to hack macOS onto.
I feel like there must be. There's an iPad in Cupertino that has macOS on it. Like, it's like
that should be a movie, where you're breaking in the Apple headquarters looking for the DMG.
I
don't know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say I don't know if I'll try to find the link. I don't know if I was doing some research when I was thinking about the folding iPhone and what OS would run, and I came across this post on Twitter where someone basically got into iOS's flags on like what features to expose, and they basically convinced an iPhone 17 Pro Max that it was an iPad, and they got full windowing on the iPhone. The iPad dock was down there, like it was full on iPad OS. it was a wild thing to see. So anyway, that was one of the things where I was
still bothers me that iPhone Pro Maxes and other big iPhones can't run the home screen in landscape mode like you could on the 6 Plus. I really liked that experience because I'd have like a Foldio case and just like sitting on your desk, and you could just use it, and they just like, oh, you can only use it vertically. Like it's such a weird thing they just never went back to.
So as an iPad enthusiast, I will say, because I get annoyed by stupid things, right? And expectations are a funny thing. with the iPhone 15 where we got USB-C, and people were like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, you can connect this to a monitor and it'll mirror the display, and oh, this is amazing." And I'm like, "This was the worst thing ever on the iPad, not like 3 years ago, but on the phone. Oh my God, this is great. Can you believe it?"
and it's even worse on the phone because it's
Right?
mirroring a even smaller whatever.
But the black
Yeah.
bars aren't that noticeable on the sides. You can't even you forget. Yeah. There is, I mean, listen, is there a bit of a derangement syndrome around iPad conversations? Probably. I'm not,
Yeah.
I won't deny that. Yeah, it is one of those things where you just kind of like say, this surely, this drove me crazy. I'm sure it drives you crazy. Like anytime you see like a big tech place review the iPad Pro, like I feel like you're just like if you're watching the video, you're just like bracing for the moment where they're like, but I can't do everything on it. And you're like, no.
Mhm.
Every time.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
The
Ooh,
the
ooh.
cameras with the fold, I think, will be the thing that he will return to. It's like, it doesn't have all the zooms that I need.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Although the iPad Air, I mean, the iPhone
Air.
I feel like that was an interesting thing where people were like, I feel like we went from like pixel peeping, like zooming in like 10x on like iPhones versus Samsungs and being like, ours is 2% better. And like, I need that. I obviously couldn't do anything with anything less. And then they released a thin phone with one camera, and we're like, I never need more than one camera. I'm fine.
I mean that was the training wheels. Like I think Vitici got the Air to like see if he could do it with the one camera or whatever.
Yeah.
And my solution was, okay, I can do this. I just need to get a fancy lens for my big camera, and I got even better zoom. So best of both worlds. I feel like that's, I don't know, real cameras. One thing I heard, real cameras are coming back for like high school students because they can't bring their phones in the school, but they're able to bring like real cameras. And that iPods are coming back because they can't bring their phones in school, but they're allowed a dumb iPod.
If I can take my opportunity to complain about stupid things,
Please.
I love a "this is coming back" story because so often it's like 20 people did it, and
yes,
one person did it last year, so it's like 20x what it was.
20x, yeah.
This is like the final comeback where it's like,
but yeah, I need more. I need firsthand reporting from teachers that are like,
I'll ask my wife. She's a high school teacher.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
But Apple should really make an Apple Music iPod that's like, all your stuff that you save to your library can go on there and just streams it, and that can be a fun little device. So, yeah. For the 50th anniversary, what better time than to bring back the iPod?
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of those things. Everything is a reaction to what came before. Like we had these phones that like got better cameras, and now the kids are like, I kind of like the old school charm of like terrible photos. And I'm like, we left that world, but they do look kind of nice, interesting. And yeah, it just
the voice controlled iPod Shuffle would be slightly less terrible. With Siri as the brains.
It would be slightly terrible.
I was going to say, would it? Really?
Because the one thing Siri does actually pretty well is Apple Music, I feel. Okay. Not amazingly well, but somewhat well.
Yeah. I learned, I feel like we did a podcast about that iPods came up quite a bit, and I learned quite a bit about you.
Yes.
You like the weird iPods.
I do. I don't like the third generation standard iPod. That one was crap. With the 4 buttons on top. Yeah. That one was crap. But shuffles I'm a fan of. Yeah. Each one's its own special mixtape. You just buy 20 of them and you're all set.
Oh my god. We're all Apple's ideal customer.
Yes, we are. Anyways, the folding phone, I'm a once every 2 years at most kind of person for iPhone, so I when I got the Air, I made that decision for me. I say that right now, but that's at least what I'm saying.
As soon as they're like iPad OS and iOS are the same thing now, the phone runs iPad OS.
Yeah,
you're going to be like, take my money.
Yeah, because I'd have to pay off a whole year's worth of the Air, and then
But you do a
They-
trade in, it'll all work out.
Right. It's like, Apple, will you take my HP Veer as a trade in? Yeah. Yeah. So the MacBook Neo, you're using it as your travel computer, Matt, and I know you've talked about the MacBook Air, and why not just do that as a refurbished? You're happy with the Neo as like a computer for you?
I'm happy enough with the Neo. I like novelty, so I kind of I like the color. I like that it's new and fun, and like that's nice. But yeah, I mean, for my work computer for the past 5 years, I've had an M1 MacBook Pro, like baseline like 13-inch touch bar, keeping the touch bar alive.
Nice.
Yeah, it's terrible. Changing the volume is horrible on it. I hate every moment of it. But so I knew what an M1 felt like, and this feels very, 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 very similar to that, just with less RAM. So
Yeah.
I think if you are someone who is on a budget and looking to get the most bang for your buck, if you can go on Amazon, I saw an M2 Air with 512 storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM for $650.
Yeah.
Next day shipping. Like, I think that's a better buy. if your pure interest is, I want this to be as fast as possible for the least amount of money, I think that's pretty good. And it's got a better screen, better speed, better IO, better keyboard, better trackpad.
I'm going to be so curious about OS support, and if the Neo, because Apple seems to do it not only on power but longevity of the computer itself. I wonder if the M1 Air will get cut off before the Neo, and if the M2 Air will get cut off before the Neo, and how when the cutoffs will be.
I wouldn't be surprised if Neo was had the least longevity. It feels like it's really doing its best.
Is it RAM based or chip based? Like, I don't know. Does it get cut off at the same time the M1 Air does? And when does the M1 Air get cut off? Like, does that still have many more years to go? I don't know. I'm curious on that.
It's kind of crazy to me still. I mean, it'd be complex to do, but that they don't at all consider the variations in the chips. Like, you could buy the most high-end, 20 core M whatever laptop, and it gets cut off the same time as, the base model, just because of age, It's a little strange.
It is.
Yeah.
That's how they do trade-ins too. You could buy a maxed out iPhone with 2 terabytes of storage. Trade-in value is the same as the base. Doesn't matter.
It's totally ridiculous though. That bothers me to no end. Yeah. There was one the latest OS update, I think the iPad OS, there was some weird scenario where like a lesser iPad got support, but a better iPad did not. I forget what iPad that was, Riley.
Escapes me at the moment.
But there was something where it's like, what's going on here? Because it was nonsensical with like how fast the iPad, like an iPad Pro, got cut off when it shouldn't have, kind of thing. And Riley, you're using the Neo as a what role is this in your life as a mostly iPad person? Is it basically the universal control keyboard for your multiple iPads to just have as your brains there?
You weren't supposed to ask me what I was going to use this for.
No, because that's the one thing iPad needs, like universal control. Why can't I use my Magic Keyboard with iPad Pro on my iPad Mini that's sitting next to it? That's
so
infuriating.
In all seriousness, so I've been mostly living I have an M2 Pro Mac Mini here that I've been using for the occasional, side app development. I am finding, despite loving that setup, I do want to actually work other places sometimes. And so, and while I do have some old laptops here, I mean, the Neo, again, I'm not trying to build like super complex apps, this is mostly stuff for me. And so the Neo, I think, is going to be fine for that occasional use. That's honestly, as an iPad person, I in my video I just did, I talked about how iPad people have kind of like a one thing that's kind of better on a Mac or can't be done on an iPhone on an iPad.
You can't do ferrite on the Mac. It's useless.
So that's kind of why I was saying, okay, it's an iPad companion because yeah, there are some things that don't translate well to a touch first computer. Again, software development's one of them, and I can just use the Neo for the few times I want to do that. Go back to my iPad.
I mean, Riley, you just unplug the Mac Mini, plug in the power in your living room, use the iPad with Sidecar. You're all set.
You have no idea how hard it is to get technology into my living room. My wife is like, I bought an Apple TV for that computer. I returned for that TV. I returned it because there was too many wires. She was like, nope, nope. So
Seriously?
we used.
You could Velcro it to the. You could Velcro it to the back of the TV.
Well, it's too close to the wall, but
Okay.
So we use like the terrible built-in Samsung software on that TV, and it's just like I don't see how.
Man,
no one else cares in this house, but I'm just like, how do people put up with this?
I was told.
Okay.
I was told yesterday that someone in my household couldn't tell the difference between the TV speakers and a HomePod, a big boy HomePod. It's like I don't know how to feel about this. Ears functioning. It seems like a big difference there. I don't know.
Yep.
Same response to IMAX versus a regular movie screen. It's like, no, IMAX is clearly better. And this is why we have like a very small TV set, because like it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Some people can't tell the difference between things, and that's okay. I can't tell that between audio on AirPods and AirPods Pro. They sound exactly the same. People tell
I will
me
say, I will say, like, your ears do acclimate to what you're using, because like for a while there, I switched to the Beats Solo buds, those $60 buds, because the battery life is bonkers. And prior to the AirPod Pro 3s coming out, it's like, this is better not needing to charge at midday. And it's like, oh, this sounds great for podcasts. But once you get into it, it's great. But if you switch midday to the Pros, it's like, oh, these things are not good. But once you get into it, it's like, oh, they're fine. Yeah. It's that experience, yeah. Well, this has been fun. Thank you for joining us, Matt. Thanks for raising your hand and saying, bring me aboard to this. Yes.
Yeah.
Any parting thoughts, Matt? Anything else you didn't want to? Any points you wanted to make you didn't get to get across?
The only point I wanted to make that I didn't come up, it almost came up, was on the iPad Pro reviews where people say, but I can't do everything on it, and now I'm frustrated. I'm going to vent for a little bit. I think what these people are expressing is just a desire for a touchscreen tablet Mac. And if they had this product, they could stop giving the iPad grief. Maybe they would keep doing it because it's a fun hobby. But to me, it seems like such a clear thing, like people expressing, here is what I want this product to do. And if this product existed, I would be happy, or at least temporarily, until I got tired of this and needed something else. But like, I feel like that's the thing. If we could get the product that these people who are complaining about the iPad not doing the things they specifically want to do, if we gave them the product they wanted, maybe we'd all be at peace for 6 months or so. And then people are at 6 months. That's the world I dream of.
I still want Apple to enable audio hijack to be able to run on Mac on iPad OS. Feels like if they could make it run on this closed down Mac that we now have, they should be able to add those APIs to make it.
So many of your ideas are forcing Apple to force developers to do things they will not do.
There's that. One thing I've been noticing throughout this podcast, I got the iPad sitting next to me here, and the screen dims every once in a while. And I look at it, and it brightens back up. It's such a delightful thing. The attention awareness on iPad OS with Face ID.
Oh, did they?
It knows when you're looking at it. It's such it's kind of creepy. A lot of people would think it's creepy, but it's very delightful where you see it dim and you look at it. It's like, I'm here. I'm awake.
I mean, I don't want to bring them up again, but do you know who did that first? Samsung.
Was that a Mac? Oh, Samsung did that.
Samsung they did it in a weird way, but yeah, I think it was like the Galaxy S4 or 5 or something. You could, if your screen timeout was like 5 seconds, but you were staring at the phone, it would not turn it off until you looked away.
That was like the generation they had like those hover gestures too. I think.
There was some weird stuff back then.
yeah, I remember that.
Why touch the screen when you can just wave your hand across?
Well, you don't want smudges on the screen. I mean,
there
that's
you go.
The worst, Oh gosh.
But yeah, it was very fun talking to you guys. So thank you for having me on. Riley, thank you for coming back. It was very great to meet you.
Likewise.
Be able to see you from across the internet.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, all the things. What, a better computer? You have a podcast. You have your own podcast now. Now I must say, I think I saw 16 minutes on the latest episode. You went over your time there by just a minute.
I did. I was complaining about DLSS 5. You need a little extra time for that.
You do. Oh,
I've got a blog. I've got a couple podcasts, a YouTube channel, some apps. I don't want to shout them out, but maybe one of them.
Now DLSS 5, the only thing that thing would be kick butt for is sports games where you have the actual players in them versus because they're trying to make them realistic. Like
they're trying.
It's like, yeah,
they're trying.
if you could just replace the computer graphic with the video of Michael Jordan in there, why not?
Maybe.
I joke. I don't know. It's horrific stuff going on there. You have the Hogwarts kids being 40-year-olds. Yeah. Go listen to Matt's podcast for that. Rant or whatever you want to call it. Not about rant, but yes, monologue. Yes. And then Riley, slatepad.org.
Yes, sir. We'll get you to the videos and blog posts and all of that good stuff. I don't have a podcast yet, but I'm here enough. Like, it's fine.
That is true.
That's fine.
Unofficial co-host or whatever, if you want to call it that. And then we did record this one live on YouTube, youtube.com/TCHATEN. Or youtube.com/@iPad Pros podcast. So they have those @ things now too. Which I'm not sure how I feel about. Anyways. Well, thank you guys for joining me. And as a reminder, you can support this podcast over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. And we'll be back next time in 2 weeks for another riveting discussion of something. WWDC just got out, so we're coming up on that pretty soon. And lots of stuff coming up as we rocket forward into the rest of the year. Thanks for listening or watching.